What is a full pack today? I'm gonna be eating while talking, so just so you know. But we need to talk about this episode. So this episode was fun as hell. So first off, the episode starts off with Isaac basically, I guess how he climbed to the ranks. So, um, either Fedra or Wolf, whichever part apart he was, but basically, we got a cameo from Josh Peck, which is awesome. So him and Josh Peck, Isaac, and all of his people are talking inside the car, and like they're all being chummy with each other. When Isaac comes out of the car, he goes to meet these people who were kind of blocking the car's way. So then, um, Isaac and this girl are sorry, they exchange names, and then Isaac, for some reason, throws grenades inside the car, killing everybody in there, which, weird. But then that scene ends. It cuts to Ellie and Dina inside of a pharmacy, and they're like talking and everything. Dina finds what it. We already assumed it was going to be a pregnancy test. It ends up later on in the series, or later on in the episode, it is a pregnancy test. So, but she tells Ellie she has to go pee. So then they go on to the horse, and there's gonna be a. I already quit the Last of Us community, other than like watching Dom the Bomb and like reactions to the episode. So I won't be enduring this hate and this bigotry, but there's a lot of pride stuff in this episode, a lot of gayness in this episode. I can see people probably going to be fucking fiending and scratching at their neck, being like, "Oh my god, gays exist!" But yeah. So then they showed the pride flag, which I'm kind of happy they did. And it shows how far gone from society they have been, or the world is. Because Ellie and Dina don't even know pride flags. Like, Dina's like, why are there so many rainbows around? And, Ellie was like, maybe they were very peaceful. Then we finally get the scene. So they're like, so Ellie and Dina are like, we should probably stay somewhere before we go to the big WLF building. That's like, yeah, if you guys play the game, it's a radio station. But, Ellie and Dina are like, yeah, we need to stop somewhere. And Dina's like, I already found the place. It's a music store. If you know, you know. But I gotta say, the set design almost ripped completely from the game. Like, that music store, I remember that music store. So then Dina plays the drums, which actually happens in the game, but it's a very rare occurrence, I believe. And I think you have to, like, talk to Dina for that to happen. So I like the little detail that they put in there. Ellie goes up to play the guitar. She kisses guitar picks, which I actually appreciate, because that shows that she is more in tune with music than in the game. So then she starts Bella Ramsey's voice first off. Angelic. Fucking angelic, dude. Good lord. People say that Bella Ramsey's not Ellie. Um, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you here, bud. Especially with this scene. Oh my god, her voice, dude, made me fall in love. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. And then Dina crying on how sweet Ellie is. She was like singing. Um, it's kind of less emotional now because she doesn't know the song that Joel was gonna sing, which honestly I don't know why they didn't include that, you know? Why didn't they include the whole Joel sings a song to Ellie? I just feel like that was a big key point because she plays it like every every hour or so, and it was like really sweet. So weirds me out that they didn't include that, but it doesn't really matter. Um, Ellie starts singing "Take on Me" very beautifully. I'm sorry, dude, but Bella Ramsey's voice was surprisingly cute, surprisingly angelic. And I like that they're setting up slowly Ellie and Dina because in the game, I've said this before, in the game, they're like it's a slow burn, or no, I mean in the show it's a slow burn. In the game, it's already established that they're together, but in the show, they're like friends. But I believe this scene is when Dina officially decided that she was in love with Ellie. Then, if I remember, the scene cuts to Isaac. I thought he was talking to himself. Obviously, I knew that he was talking to somebody, but it was taking so long to reveal what he was doing that I was like, okay, is he talking to somebody? Or is he talking to himself? But we realize that he is torturing a Scar. And we get a wide shot of that man's crank, dude. I was surprised. I was surprised that they did the naked man scene. Like I knew they were gonna do it, but weird, dude. Awesome, but weird. But basically Isaac's heating up this pan and like placing it on the Seraphite's hand, and the Seraphite literally tells Isaac that the WLF are going to lose because every time that the WLF finds out the truth, they leave the WLF, but nobody leaves the Seraphites. First off, amazing. I love that. I love that reveal. And then I believe Isaac, in fear, because he knows that the Seraphite is telling the truth, is going to burn him, but the Seraphite immediately puts his hand up, and then Isaac just shoots him. So, yeah. Then it cuts back to Ellie and Dina. Oh, fuck, what were they doing? I don't remember what they were doing after that. Because we were in the thing before. Oh, they keep walking. Fuck, how do they get to the tunnel? Okay, so Ellie and Dina. Fuck. Okay, so they go into the tunnel. I think it just cuts to them in the tunnel. And like, the WLF are. Oh no! Wait. Wait. Okay, no. Okay, I remember. So it cuts to them, like looking at the satellite, the radio tower. And they're like surveying the area. They enter, which I think they're slowly building up to Tommy, because we see that a window is broken with a little bit of glass, or with a little bit of a cut. That's Tommy. Or at least I think that's Tommy. It could be the Seraphite, but we go into the thing, and it's literally ripped straight from the game, dude. We see the bodies hanging. Even Ellie's disturbed, which I think that they convey a lot more emotion in the show than they do the game. Because Dina pukes, pregnancy pukes, but of course, you know. And then even Ellie's just like, wow. Then the WLF come in. Ellie and Dina are hiding. It's literally ripped straight from the game. You're gonna hear me say that probably a lot during this entire series, but it's literally ripped straight from the game, dude. Dude. Ellie goes up the stairs and like is hiding and stuff, and she literally takes out the bad guy like Ellie from the game. Though obviously, because Bella Ramsey's shorter than Ellie, she has to like tackle him down, which, again, I love Bella Ramsey, but I do agree with people, at least for season 2, they should have recasted her. But they make it work. So, yeah, all of that plays out. And then they escape into the tunnel. And then the tunnel, they're like, okay, the WLF noticed that they're going to the tunnel because there's like a little gap that only they could fit in, but the WLF can. So the WLF are like, they're in the tunnels, they're in the subway or whatever, subway egress. Sorry. They literally pull a cave divers type stuff. So then we get the whole entire thing where the WLF are like throwing flares. We see a little bit of cordyceps where the flare is, so obviously that triggers a bunch of infected to run around. The WLF gets overwhelmed, and Ellie and Dina like escape into the train. The infected are surrounding them. This scene was so awesome, so badass. And I'm gonna say it, Dina's carrying Ellie. Like, in the game, it's very much Ellie carrying Dina, and Dina's just there. But in the show, they're making Dina to be... Oof, dude. They're making Dina out to be a badass. And I was really questioning, because even Dina was like, and what if we see WLF that weren't the people who killed Joel? And Ellie gave a look like, obviously we're gonna kill them, and then Dina was like, agreed. Which was interesting, because in the game, Dina seemed very like put off by Ellie's rage. But in the show, I'm wondering if they're gonna switch the script where Dina isn't upset when Ellie goes to find Abby again, because spoiler alert, there's spoilers literally in the title, so like, sorry if you click on this video not expecting spoilers from a lot of media, then hate to break it to you, but in the game, Abby and Ellie break up because Ellie goes back to find Abby. And Dina's like, okay, if you go, I might leave and everything. But in the show, it seems like they're setting up that Dina wants them dead as much as Ellie does. which is going to be a very interesting switch of the script. But anyway, continuing on from where we were, um, yeah. So Ellie and Dina are like running through the train. They eventually escape. Dina and Ellie get stuck on one of those rotary things, like with the cages and stuff. They're and like about to get attacked by a zombie, and then Ellie takes a bite for Dina, and that is how they reveal that Ellie is immune. Which, I love that. I think the spores was a lot more interesting. I don't know why they're not doing spores. Like, I don't understand why they don't do the spores. Like, am I the only one that doesn't understand why they can't do the spores? But anyway, so that's how they figure out Ellie is immune. They escape. Ellie's like, where are we going to hold off for the night? And then Dina sees the iconic theater. And I'm going to tell you, the theater looks exactly like, maybe not from the outside, but the inside looks exactly like the game. I love it, dude. So then they get into there. Ellie braces the door, and then Dina holds up a gun to Ellie. And, like, obviously, because Dina just saw Ellie get bit. And then Ellie is like, I can prove that I'm immune. And then she goes to sit on the chair. She instructs Dina to, like, stay far away from her, keep a gun traced onto her, and the next time that she wakes up, Ellie's going to be Ellie. And I think I like this a little bit more than how it's revealed, but I like the spores more. I like the scene with the spores more. But I understand if they don't do that, because doing spores would be very hard to do without, like, actually hurting people. Because here's the thing, is that if you breathe in dust, you can get an infection, and they can't just spread powder around the place. So, like, I think they're not doing spores for that reason. And then doing CGI would just piss people off. Like, doing CGI spores would literally just piss people off. People would piss their pants because of CGI. Anytime CGI exists, people get so mad. So they're probably like, yeah, no, we're not going to do spores, like, at all. But me personally, I think that the spores were a better thing, like, to show. Because spores are, like, an actual way to prove that you're immune. Getting bitten, like, that takes time to get infected. But spores, we've seen people cough immediately upon contact. And Dina immediately is like, oh yeah, she's immune. But, like, in the show, yeah, I don't know. Me personally, I prefer the spores, but it's fine if they don't do spores. Because I think, again, you breathe in dust, you're screwed. You can get an infection from that. So, yeah, obviously Ellie wakes up and is like, see, I'm still me, and then unwraps the bite, revealing that no infection has been had. Dina holds up a lantern, like, freaking out, and also, like, she's scared to say what she's about to say, and then she says to Ellie, I'm pregnant. And then she goes up to Ellie and kisses her. And then this is when Deli sprouts. And there's actually it's a very intense sex scene. It's not really a sex scene, it's more of a makeout. But we see Bella, like, Ellie put her hand in Dina's pants, and I was like, oh shit, okay, we're doing this. Because in the game, it's like they just kiss and then it cuts to black. But in the show, they went full in. And then the next day, they're, like, cuddling and everything. They're just so cute. And then Dina's, like, tells this story about how she came out to her mom, and her mom was like, hell no. But then a radio goes off. Um, yeah, a radio goes off, and then they go up to a rooftop. There's like bombings and stuff. And Dina's like, yeah, that's I think it was Manchester. I can't remember what it was. It was either Manchester or something else. But anyway, Ellie is like, okay, Dina, you stay here, and Dina's like, no, fuck that, and then Ellie's like, fuck, hold on, and then Ellie's like, but things are different now, and then Dina's like, yeah, it is, and then they hold hands, and it's like telling that Dina's gonna be a bigger part than just like staying at the theater, which again brings me to my theory about the show being completely different from how things work with the game. I think that they're going to switch the script where Dina's a bigger part than she is in the game. I think Dina's going to be there for like the killings of like Owen and Mel. She's going to be there for just everything that Ellie endures. Because she was there when Joel died, so it's like she has a bigger connection to the story than just dating Ellie. But, yeah. Overall, this episode, 9 out of 10. 9 out of fucking 10. I loved it. I loved every little bit of it. Even the Isaacs scenes, which I thought I wouldn't like as much, but bro, this just this was a breath of fresh air. I cannot wait for next episode. Also,